All this high ticket sales beyond set, what was life like back in January before you found the change?
I was just about a year after I dropped out of college. I was working in a factory then for the whole year because I didn't really have a clue. I didn't have an exit plan from college, and the first 2 days I made the same as there was in a week in the factory, and that's when I kind of knew, Jesus, this actually works, you know.
You had two choices. You could either go the safe route or you could take a risk and back yourself.
Definitely, yeah. You have to step into fear because that's the only way you're gonna, evolve and improve as a man.
Looking back at your whole journey, right from starting college to going through different phases of drinking and dropping out of college, even the work in the weekends at the factory, then going into the factory for a year, where you are now being in Thailand, possibly moving out to Spain next month, working with a team of guys that you actually like. How would you describe your transformation in one sentence? So, Mr. Connolly, how are we doing today, brother?
Very good, man. Happy out. How are you?
How are you finding it on the new offer, Mr. Connolly?
Good, man. Doing well. Part of a great team, so looking forward to the future with it.
How long have you been on the new offer?
2 weeks. 2 weeks on Monday.
If I can take you back, brother, right to January, the 1st of January, 2nd of January, 3rd of January, right? Start of this whole year, start of 2026. Where were you before all of this? All this high ticket sales beyond set. What was life like back in January before you found the change?
Start of January this year, I was that was just about a year after I dropped out of college, and I was working in a factory then for the whole year because I didn't really have a clue. I didn't have an exit plan from college, so I went full time in the factory job
that I had. You
worked
in the factory from January 25 to the end of for the whole year?
Well, from summer 24, I was working weekends when I was in college as well. I just went full time when I dropped out.
What was it that you were studying?
Technology management. It was
Did you like
business and I just did it to go to college, because I didn't really have a plan after school. So
do you feel like there was an external pressure on you to go to college?
Definitely, yeah. I suppose from everyone around me, really. Like my parents had always, wanted me to go to college, and obviously for them, they just wanted the best for me, and I'm glad that they were able to put me in that position, because a lot of people don't even get to that position. So I was very privileged to have it, but I knew it just wasn't for me. And also as well, all my friends, most of them anyways, all of them either went to college or did an apprenticeship. I had no interest in an apprenticeship, so I just went to college for and waste 4 years, I suppose.
Well, I suppose to keep life moving in a direction that you were to believe was going to give you a life you wanted once upon a time. But then let's talk about January then. So the start of the new year came. What was life for you then? Start of January, start of the new year. Where was your head at?
I was very sick of the factory at that point, and I was at the start of the year. I was like, right, I need to start a career now, a proper career. Only thing I could think of was an apprenticeship. So I was going to do my heart set. Well, not my heart set, but number one plan for me was start an electrical apprenticeship, and I very nearly did.
And I suppose then, what was the biggest problem or frustration that you were dealing with at that time, Cian?
It was just finding my purpose, I suppose, because I went to college. It wasn't for me. I was looking at the job market, there was nothing out there that I really wanted to do, and I was kind of thinking then, I'm just going to have to settle for a job that I don't want to do for the rest of my life, because that's just life. That's how it is. But deep down, I kind of knew it didn't have to be that way, and I could do something different.
In Ireland these days, Cian, what makes you feel like those problems, or do you feel like you're 23, Cian? You're 22.
22.
22. Do you feel like in Ireland, Cian, as a young 22-year-old, that those problems there, what you just said, purpose and find what you want to do you feel like they're hard to fix and hard to solve?
Definitely, yeah, I suppose, because, when you're growing up in school, teachers will always give you two options, apprenticeship or college. Same with your parents, same with everyone, really. There's not many people who do anything different. And if they do, they're kind of looked down upon, what's this lad doing? And that would kind of put you off going into something different.
Being a black sheep.
Exactly, yeah. You kind of want to fit into the crowd.
Yeah.
And avoid all that.
Yeah, I get you. I think that I relate to you on that one, man. I feel like sometimes we try to how other people see us first in comparison to how we actually see ourselves, because, is it fair to say that you wanted different life in comparison to what you were seeing around you, Cian.
Definitely, yeah.
And so
Everything
then
around me was, going to college or an apprenticeship, and I wanted something different. I just didn't know what it was.
I suppose then, Cian, like what made you finally take the leap and decide to join Beyond Set?
I suppose it was around the end of January, start of February. I was in a sauna one day, and I met this lad from the north. He turned out to be an electrician, and he's kind of talking to me like, "What are you doing?" I was like, I'm in a factory now, but I'm considering an apprenticeship an electrical apprenticeship." And he was like, "Jez, I'm an electrician, and I'm looking to take on lads." So we had a good chat about it. Anyways, I gave him my number, and then a couple of days. Yeah, no, this was it was the next day or the day after that I came across yourself on Instagram and Beyond Set, and it was actually one of the members that I came across made a video about Dylan Daly. Yeah, he was off to Thailand with you, and I was looking at this lad thinking, "Geez, this is a bit of me. Like, this is exactly what I'm looking to do."
Why this, Cian? What was it that clicked? What was the click for you?
Two main reasons, I suppose, was first one was obviously like it's a way I can maybe start a different career. Obviously, with high ticket sales, but also it was the community. Like what Beyond Set was, it wasn't just like just like make money and a course kind of thing. It was an actual community of lads who actually do stuff together. Like I saw you met up in Patrick about a month before I joined, and after I had dropped out of college, I kind of drifted from my own friends a bit. I'd stopped going out as well. I lost interest in drinking, all that, so didn't really see them much, and I was kind of looking for like a new kind of pack. So,
yeah, I get that. I think it's funny, Cian, and you're not the only one that deals with this, brother, because in Ireland, 99% of friendships are made on ice doing. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, at the pub.
At the pub, man. 99% of friendships are maintained and begin in a pub in Ireland, and it's a sad thing. I think that a lot of it is through drinking. And you know what? I won't say there's not some amazing, relationships made elsewhere. Like, GAA is huge in Ireland. I'm sure you've met some great guys through that as well. I have in my time, don't get me wrong, but just the majority of friendships these days are sustained by going out drinking. And when you look at your circle around you and you look at what you're continuously doing, it's like, wow, like where is this going to get me? And like you said there, Cian, when you lost interest in a lot of those things, you lost friends. I feel the same, man. I feel the same. Trust me, brother. Like some of my bestest friends, the main thing we did together was we used to go around smoking weed and going drinking. And don't get me wrong, these are amazing people and I love them with all of my heart. I'd do anything for them. But at that time in my life, and like you had hit there, you just realize that if I really want what I say I want, I have to sacrifice. And it's like, it's crazy how sometimes when you just want to be better, people don't recognize that. And they'd rather shun you. Oh, he left us. Oh, he doesn't come out with us anymore. Oh, never mind him. He's a this or he's a that because he doesn't want to come out to the pub on a Friday night. But don't ever feel, Cian, like you're anyway different, because you don't ever feel like I think you know what I'm trying to say. Like you have the courage to put yourself first. And not a lot of people in Ireland have the courage to put themselves first. And that's a beautiful thing, man. Because when you put yourself first, look where life can get you. And I suppose this is I'm actually really interested to know this question, Cian. But do you remember like your first impression after you had joined? You finished a call with Adam, and you'd literally just joined Beyond Set. Do you remember what like your first impression of everything?
Not gonna lie, man, I was very nervous. Like I just made like a big choice, and I knew my parents probably weren't going to be happy with it because they wanted me to do an apprenticeship, and I was obviously doing something different, and what am I going to tell other people that I'm doing? But one of the first things I did when I joined was I did networking calls. So just a quick FaceTime on WhatsApp with 3 or 4 of the lads, and yeah, first thing I realized, like it's just a bunch of sound lads, and I was really looking forward to working with them.
Yeah, also, that nervy, that I can only imagine. Do you know, like, I think because I'm in this world so long now, that emotion that you felt in January or February, I don't feel it as much anymore. Like when I'm making an investment or making a big change. But I remember back, like I remember 1 year ago too, man, or over a year ago now, when I had joined another sales mentorship. I'd rang my girlfriend and I had told her I'm after paying this fella. How's Joro? She was like, Jesus, Ryan, you're going to be careful with that. Like, I didn't mean that. I was like, look, like, at the end of the day, you either willing to back yourself or you're not. You know what I mean? And I remember how I felt too, man. Like, scary. You know what I mean? Like, it was scary. I was like, your man was on the call trying to get me to pay money, and I was kind of like, oh no, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if I like this. But at the end of the day, it was the best decision I've ever made, man. And I'm sure, like, one day when you're older, I'm sure maybe even now you feel like it's a decision. It's a decision that changes a lot.
Yeah, I think one of the main reasons for the nerves is like you kind of think you're doing this alone, and then I had a few calls with the lads, and I realized, geez, these lads are all the same as me. They're all coming from similar situations. They just want something better, and that really eased the nerves a lot.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think I really agree because I don't think that like enough lads in Ireland know that 99% don't feel the same way, but they just don't admit that they're not fulfilled. They don't like what they're doing, and day in day out. So when they join something like this, everybody's the same. Everybody is the same. But what happened then in your first few weeks so of joining Beyond Secchi, right? Was there any early wins or any like shifts in your mindset or your mentality or like any, I suppose, like first steps you remember that benefited you?
I'd say about a week into it, I realized I need to go all in on this if I want to make it work. So I was working evenings in the factory at the time, and I went up to my manager the next Monday and I said I need to switch to day shift so I can work on Beyond Set the evenings. And that was kind of
You
the
telling your
moment I
manager that
realized.
you're working on Beyond Set?
No, I just said I was doing it to go hurling. I wanted to go hurling training, so I didn't tell anyone for the first few weeks.
Yeah, I can
So
imagine. I can imagine.
yeah,
How did that feel though, Cian, going from the shift work to just strictly days? Because you were like, how did it feel? Do you remember that period? Do you remember that period of time, like when you went in, you told them, and coming back out of work? Like, how did that all feel for you?
um, I was obviously a bit afraid to do it, like because I'd not be. I'd be
Making
very
up what
nervous
to
like that when it comes to change. But
do.
after I did it, obviously the group calls were on in the evenings at 7 o'clock every evening. So I was able to join them for the first time. I was able to get to know the coaches and the lads a lot better, and I was very happy I made the move.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. And do you think right now, looking back, even on the Cian, do you feel like the Cian that went up and asked or told your manager, I need to go back on stage? Do you feel like that Cian could see where he was going? Do you feel like he could see where you are sitting today?
Not exactly. I know. I don't think that this was only like 4 months ago. Like so, I definitely didn't think I'd be here in 4 months. But I thought maybe like might as well give this a proper go. Like there's no point half-arsing it.
Yeah, I respect that, man. That's a man move. I respect that. I respect that.
Yeah.
Well then, Cian, like take me back then to when you started to feel for yourself like this is actually going to work. Like, was there any moments from start to finish with Beyond Set where you felt like I'm actually going to change my life? This is actually going to work.
I suppose it was maybe about 6 weeks after I joined. I was obviously doing very well with the role plays and everything. I was, building up the skill set, and the coaches were very happy with me. I still kind of lacked the confidence a bit, thinking, geez, maybe they're filling me with shite here and I'm not as good as they say I am. But I I started applying for jobs anyways, and I ended up getting one then with Kyle Cook. He was the manager on it. So that was the he was very impressed with my application. Like, he was buzzing to get me on. He's happy with my interview, and started working with him anyways, the start of April. And the first 2 days I made the same as I was in a week in the factory. And that's when I kind of knew, geez, this actually works, you know?
Do you remember how it made you feel, Ian, seeing those results come true?
Yeah, I didn't feel alone, I suppose. That was it. Because, like, especially like in college, even though I was surrounded by lads, I still felt alone, like, because obviously I didn't really feel like I fit in anywhere until the last few months, you know, meeting all these lads who want the exact same thing as me, you know, going through the same journey, same experiences. And yeah, I just feel like I have a group of lads now I can share everything with.
Yeah, brothers, man. You met your real brother.
Exactly, yeah. Never had a brother.
Now you've got too fucking many.
Yeah.
No, 100%. No, do you know what, Cian? I think that God really shows you, God can show you life in such amazing different ways, but as long as you open your mind up to what can be possible for you. And it's the same with me, man. Like, my brother is only 11 years old, so it's a different type of relationship with me and my brother. But like, I respect that, because it's like you as well. I feel like you're nearly a younger brother as well that I never had. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
that there's a lot of that, like, relationships like that, when you put yourself out there, like, it's so true that you are yet to meet the people the new you will attract. And that's a powerful phrase, because the new you has a lot of things that you don't even know are there. But the new you also has people that you never knew were going to be in your life. Amazing people. People with pure intentions. Because finding people with pure intentions in this world is not an easy task. Not an easy task. You know, a lot of people are focused on the take without, you know, figuring out, like, realizing that if you give in this world and you're able to give time, attention, you know, and genuine energy, because energy is possibly one of the most valuable things in this world. Time and energy, right? But if you're able to give time and energy, there's so much that can come back and compound from that, you know. And you gave this your time and energy. That's what I mean. Time and your energy. You gave this your most valuable assets, your two most valuable assets. And that's why you're sitting where you are now today, Ian. You know, I'm not going to say you're fucking a millionaire, right? But you're definitely on the road, man, to becoming more financially free than any sparkling apprenticeship or any factory job will ever have given you in your life. But not just financially free, but happy. Happy. And you cannot put a price tag on happiness. You know, that's the real win from this game. Finding happiness and finding other lads that see you for who you want to be.
Finding purpose.
Yeah, man.
Purpose.
Finding purpose.
You know, I have something now that I wake up every day excited to do. That's something I never really had.
I respect that. I respect that. Like, if you didn't join Beyond Set, man, where do you think you'd be? If you didn't join Beyond Set, where do you think you'd be this as of June 2026?
I'd be 4 months into an apprenticeship. I was looking back there at the text your man sent me. He said, when do you plan on starting? This was the day after I joined Beyond Set. And I texted him back saying, listen, I think I might get back to you later in the year. I'm thinking of traveling or something. But I could have said yes to that, and I could be 4 months into an apprenticeship doing something I knew I didn't want to do.
Wow. So you had two choices. You could either go the safe route, or you could take a risk and back yourself in. Yeah. You had two choices, bro. I didn't even realize this. I didn't even know this. Wow. And you decided to say goodbye to the safe route and trust yourself, back yourself. You know? So is it fair to say, when you back yourself and you don't choose to comfort, when you steer your ship towards an uncomfortable decision or an uncomfortable time, that time is going to be the one. If you stay going through it, no matter what the discomfort is, no matter what the challenge is, but if you keep going through it, do you think it's fair to say that joy and happiness and peace can be found in it and at the other side?
Definitely, yeah. You have to step into fear because that's the only way you're gonna, evolve and improve as a man.
Yeah.
And I've learned that every day since I joined. Like, because even on group calls, I get called out, and I wouldn't want to talk, but I'd have to step up and do it anyways. Like the down in Connemara there the other week, you were going around to all of us, and I stepped up in front of the whole class, and I kind of introduced myself. I did that because I didn't want to do it because I was like, I knew you were going to call on me, and I was shitting it for that. And I was like, look, if I'm going to make this hard for myself, I might as well go all in and face the fear.
Do you feel like you recognize the Cian you see in the mirror these days? Because I nearly don't even recognize the Cian I see in front of me these days.
No, I was watching my onboarding call there with Adam last week, and like watching myself back then in February, and I was thinking, who is this lad? I don't recognize him at all. Barely able to speak, trembling, no confidence at all, no self belief. That's gone now.
Who am I talking to now? What traits does this man have that's sitting in front of me today?
A lot more confidence, purpose, happiness, self belief. Just looking forward to the future.
Yeah. It's an amazing thing, life, man, when you can look forward to the future rather than dread it. When you can look forward to it,
Yeah.
because it's like it's only getting better and better, brother. It only gets better and better. It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. But I suppose then, now that you've joined Beyond Set and you've made this change, Cian, like what's the vision for the next year, bro? Where do you see yourself over the next 12 months going and doing, and what do you think?
Seeing the world and doing what I love while I'm doing it. Meeting new people, and just enjoying life because I never really had a chance to do that before. So looking forward to what the world has to offer.
Yeah. And then like even then with appointment setting now. So your appointment setting now, Cian. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, DM setting and learn a bit of dialing as well. I was actually dialing and DM setting on my last offer, so
Okay.
I can have an idea of the skill set of both.
Yeah.
So definitely that's the plan for the next 6 months anyways, is to just master those skills and earn as much as possible from them, and then
100%.
see what the future has to offer.
Do you think you have any idea what it is that you'd actually like to go in after? Because I know you're probably aware of growth operating, and growth operating is a big term. Because when you say growth operating, right, there's like so many. I help creators do this. I help creators do that. I help creators do this. I help creators do this. I help with this. I help with that. I help with what man, there's help with everything. There's someone to help with something, right? And then there's obviously even going to setting, closing, I suppose making your own content. But is there anything that you can kind of feel yourself pulling towards at all yet?
Yeah, I would say maybe in the short-term future, coaching, definitely coaching, like, because I've seen what coaches can do for me. I never really had a coach until this year, and it's definitely changed my life, and I'd like to make that change in other people as well. But in the long term, I would say I've always kind of wanted to start a business, but not by myself. I'd want to do it with other people, as part of a team, just so we can have like
More. What do they say? Two minds are better than one.
exactly, yeah. And everything's it's just more enjoyable when you're doing it with other people as well, and you have the same vision and you can share ideas, and that's definitely something that I want to do.
I love that 100%, 100%. And that's beautiful that you have that in mind, because I feel like the world really is your oyster right now, Cian. I think it really is. I think right now it's just for you. It's like what I would say for you if I was in your situation would just be to get as much value and knowledge from the people that are around you, and master the position that you're in right now, and to maximize it to the absolute most. And then from there, opportunities flow, man. When you allow goodness and when you allow nothing but positive frequencies to enter your mind, they will flow. And you have to see abundance everywhere. You have to see abundance everywhere with opportunities, with money, with life, with joy, with happiness. And when you train your mind to find abundance, you will feel abundance and abundance will come and the floodgates will open and opportunities, people, it gravitates to another level, and I feel like that's what's coming for you, as long as you obviously stay seeking that abundance and looking for how much of it there is in this world, you know. But
Yeah.
Cian, if if you were to speak to somebody that was in the exact same position that you were in January, right, that was frustrated, I suppose second guessing themselves, overthinking, not knowing where to go or what to do or what, right? Now, you don't have to say join beyond set, right? And editor, don't put this part in, but I'm saying to you, I want you to answer this honestly, Cian. You do not have to say join beyond set, right? That's very salesy,
Yeah.
right? But if now, editor, just keep that part out. Obviously, we're back to it now. So second guessing, overthinking themselves, Cian, and I just suppose they didn't have that piece of purpose that you didn't have. I think in January, what would you say to that person that felt the same way you did?
Yeah, if I could go back to myself in January, obviously the main thing I felt was probably fear of doing something different. And one thing I've learned recently since doing this is that fear is a mile long and an inch deep. And once you step into it, you realize it's not that bad at all, and you can actually do it. So as well as that, like all the good things you want in life are on the other side of facing the fear. And that fear is there for a reason. It's meant to be tackled. It's meant to be faced head on. So just jump into your fears. And like at this age, like I'm only 22, I've nothing to lose. So what's the worst that can happen?
You're dead fucking right, brother. You are dead right. What is the worst that can happen? You're 22. The worst thing that can happen is you ended up calling up sauna, man. Well, have the snips ready for me in the morning. I'm ready to fucking rock and roll. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'll
Worst that
tell
can
you.
happen is I'd be doing the same as everyone else. Like that's it.
Yeah,
You know?
that's it. The worst thing that happens is you're doing the same thing as everybody else. And they all don't seem to be complaining about it that much. You know what I
No.
mean? Like, I'd tell you this as well, Cian. Like, obviously, I did the apprenticeship and I served the 4 years, 5 years, 5.5 years, to be honest now. And I felt every part of how I think a young lad feels. And that's why I think that Beyond Set is the way it is and will grow into the being how good it is, because like a lot of us know, especially me and Adam, David's done the college route and has done the summers, but me and Adam know the sites, we know the trades, we know the game. And we felt that, you know, late shift and like you put so much time into it and it does not give you anything, right? 10, 20 years ago, yeah, being an electrician, it was great because you had money, you could raise a family, there was no worries, but life ain't like that anymore, you know? And unfortunately for us, it just hasn't been what it once was over time. So yeah, I think that I'm glad you didn't choose that. I'm glad you did, and I'm obviously sure you did too. But Cian, if somebody right now was sitting on the fence about joining Beyond Set, what would you say to them?
Why not? Like, why not give it a go? If you're thinking about it, what's the alternative? Is the alternative better than what it could be if you actually took the jump and started something different? Probably not. So why not give it a go?
100%. I appreciate that, man. And then looking back, Cian, on at your whole journey, right from starting college to going through college to going through different phases of drinking and you know doing other things, and then dropping out of college, then going into the factory for a year. Even the work in the weekends at the factory, then going into the factory for a year. And then down to January this year, and now we're to where you are now, being in Thailand, you know, possibly moving out to Spain next month, working with a team of guys that you actually like. How would you describe your transformation in one sentence?
I found purpose. Put
Found
it.
purpose.
Found purpose. Yeah.
And that can do a lot for a man. That can do a
Yeah.
lot for a man. So how does it feel living on the other side of that decision?
I don't recognize it all. Like, a completely different life, and I'm glad I took the jump. And you know, I was watching videos last night of, you know, what my life used to be like, you know, the last few years, and I'm glad all that shit happened for a reason. And I probably wouldn't be here today if I didn't experience all that. But I can say I'll never go back there, and this life's a lot better.
Thank you, Cian. Thank you for your time, brother. I think you've got
Thank you,
a crazy
Ryan.
future ahead of you. I think you've got a crazy, crazy future ahead of you, man. And yeah, whenever you think about where you're going in life, smile, bro. Because it's in God's hands. And if it's in God's hands, what more do you want? What more do you want? But yeah, thank you, Cian, for your time today, brother.
Thank you too, Ryan. Pleasure talking to you.